come out to the beach, they love to come out, sit in the sun, listen to the surf, gaze out over the ocean because it's so amazingly beautiful. And so they should, because it is. But there is so much more to the beach. Oh my gosh, the life and death struggles that go on here. Even the very sand dunes themselves struggle to stay alive. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's start with the sand dunes. Sand dunes are in an ever-present struggle to stay alive. They literally are fighting. Wind and water are constantly trying to wash them back into the ocean. And heaven forbid, if a big hurricane or a storm comes by, the beach erosion is just exponential at that point. But these plants, specifically, you have the sea oats right here, this particular plant right here, and you have the sea grapes, the ones you see in the background. Those two plants are so critical to be able to maintain this beach dune and prevent it from washing out. There's a bunch of other plants that are coming in and helping, but sea oats and sea grapes, those are the two key players because their root system is so extensive that literally acts like a net and traps the sand. This is what I'm talking about. All of this network, it's like a mesh, it's like a net that just traps and holds all of this sand and prevents it from washing back into the ocean. At least tries to. A big enough storm is still gonna wipe this out. But here we have the sea grape, we have salt palmettos, that's some of these bigger, thicker roots, and the sea oats. All of them are gonna be weaving together to create this network, this mesh, this trap that keeps the sand in the dune where it's supposed to be. But even with all of this mesh of sand, enough rain, enough storm, enough surf getting up this high, and you can see here's a whole sea grape that's just been undercut and is toppled over the dune and is now laying down on the beach. This is a constant battle between dune and ocean. Which one's gonna win? I don't know. God said he set the boundaries of the ocean. I think maybe the dunes are gonna win. Oftentimes when you come up onto the beach, in certain beaches, you'll see these markers. This indicates that there was a sea turtle that came up right here and she laid her eggs right in this flat area. So these are often protected. They'll put screen down and other things to prevent raccoons or seagulls, raccoons from digging them up, and then raccoons and seagulls and everything else from coming in and eating them. But that's what these markers are. It's very important when you see these markers, respect this area, stay clear of it so you don't damage the sea turtles.
I see turtles.
And here's exactly what I'm talking about. We have right here, you see a couple of sea turtle eggs right there. This still has the yolk in it. That one still has the yolk in it. I can see it through the crack. These were preyed upon, probably dug up by raccoons or some other animal. But you can see the holes for the ghost crabs. I don't even see one over here, but you can see the one right here. These are ghost crabs. These, what the raccoons didn't eat, the ghost crabs or seagulls are gonna finish off. Well, these turtles aren't gonna make it to the ocean, but they are part of the food chain. They are part of the life cycle in this area. As sad as it is to see these turtles not making it, at the same time, well, other animals are getting fed and the ecosystem continues. Even though we are surrounded by water, the environment here is very desert-like. Any fresh water that falls is going to soak right through this sand and not stay on the ground very long. It's a very, very difficult environment to survive. Animals and plants here have very desert-like characteristics in their habits, in their structures, their anatomies. Harsh environment, harsh environment. And if you think the dune environment is harsh, imagine trying to live here. This is called the littoral zone. It's the area between the low tide and the high tide. This area, half of your life is spent drowning in salt water. The other half is spent baking in the sand of a desert. Talk about hardy animals. Talk about animals that know how to live and know how to thrive. This is the place for the toughest animals of them all, the littoral environment. I'd hate to live here. Ah, the beach. What an amazing habitat and a great place to visit. Hey, I hope you enjoyed learning about all the different forms of life that just cling to their existence in this desert salty environment. And if you did enjoy it, please check out my next video where I go a couple of 100 yards over the dune and take you into a brackish marsh. You're gonna love it.